Many alien abductees recall their disturbing memories of being abducted by aliens while under hypnosis. Terrifying experiences of painful physical experimentations by alien encounters come flooding back that these abductees would rather forget. Many abductees recollect time spent on an alien spacecraft where they are often paralyzed while various types of alien beings probe them in unthinkable ways that treat them like a science experiment. The evidence of alien abductions is sadly too realistic, with many people having alien implants removed from their bodies, as well as skin burns and scars that mysteriously appear. Join us as we find out the mysteries of this weird world and discover these 7 warning signs you're being abducted by aliens. Number 7. Lost time. A common occurrence linked with alien abductions is loss of time. Many abductees have reported missing hours or days during which they cannot recall their whereabouts. The abductee is usually returned to the same spot from where they were taken, waking up hours or sometimes days later and only realizing they have experienced missing time. Upon checking a timepiece, one alien abductee named Sylvia described one of the more startling incidents. I've been invited to lunch by one of my closest friends who was in town on business, and remember being so excited to see her. After getting dressed, I made my way to the front door. It was noon and the restaurant was only 10 minutes away, so I was sure I would be on time for our 1 o'clock lunch date. I remember pulling my keys from my purse and reaching for the front door handle. The next thing I knew, I woke up on my bed, my keys still in my hand, and the time on my alarm clock was 3:20 p.m. I'd lost almost 3 hours. Sylvia quickly went to her phone and checked the messages on her machine. My friend had called me twice, wondering where I was, as I'd obviously missed our lunch together. To this day, I still don't know what to tell her. Number 6. Sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is a normal phenomenon, affecting millions of people. However, alien abductees who have no prior symptoms of sleepwalking suddenly experience this condition seemingly overnight. Their family members often find them in various places around their home, where they guide them back to bed. A son of an alien abductee explained how his mother would walk out of her bedroom with a terrified look on her face. She would be rubbing her hands together as if she was freezing and trying to warm herself, although the temperature in the house was comfortable. I could hear her mumbling to herself and saying, "It's time to go, it's time to go." Number 5. Unexplainable blood. Are you waking up from your sleep and finding blood stains in your bed? If you regularly wake up to find small drops of blood on your pillow or on your bed sheets, this may be a sign of having been abducted. Of course, a common explanation of this is nosebleeds. However, alleged abductee Sylvia Weinroth recalled, after undergoing light hypnosis, multiple abductions by short grey creatures in the summer of 1999. Finding unexplainable blood was her first indication. She states, "Each night I go to sleep, I completely covered myself with the bedding. However, I started to wake up in the morning and I was lying on top of my sheets and blanket. Several times I looked down and saw little red spots near my feet. As I looked closer, I discovered it was blood. I looked all over my legs but couldn't find any wounds or cuts. Then I inspected my entire body for the origin of the blood, but found nothing that could explain it." She started suffering from dizzy spells and visited her doctor, who found a possible explanation. She said, "After almost fainting from dizziness, my son took me to the doctor. They ran tests and discovered that I was suffering from exsanguination." Exsanguination is a severe loss of blood. Number 4. Medical dreams. Usually, the purpose for which aliens abduct humans is to examine their bodies. Even though many abductees forget about their abductions, memories persist in the subconscious mind. Abductees will often have recurring dreams where the individual is undergoing medical treatment or procedures. These dreams are often always confusing and terrifying, with the subjects being poked, prodded, sliced and injected with needles. Dreamers are usually frozen with fear during these tortured dreams, with their bodies paralyzed in shock. Sylvia recalls many of these medical dreams, stating, "The most unsettling dream, or nightmare I should say, was one in which I was looking up into darkness. There was no light anywhere around me, but I could hear movement and whispers. A second later, I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. I wanted to reach out for my belly, but I was unable to move. Then I woke up from the dream, sitting up in bed with my hands over my stomach, crying. The pain in my belly was so overwhelming that I vomited several times over the next hour or so. I had no idea what was wrong, but I was certain something had been done to me." However, she recalls some dreams having a positive outcome. In another nightmare, I was again in complete darkness and felt long needles inserted into my eyes. I can't even count how many times the sharp needles entered my eyeballs. The next morning, I reached for my glasses on the nightstand and found that my vision was much less blurry, and while I didn't have a perfect sight, I was able to go through my day without the need of my glasses. They, up there, fixed my vision. Number 3. Bright lights. While under hypnosis, alien abductees have reacted in severe panic after recalling bright lights beaming down on them or through their homes before being taken. These occurrences have been documented in regression therapy as a precursor to their abductions, causing immense anxiety and fear to those experiencing them. Sylvia is no stranger to bright lights, stating, "Under hypnosis, I recalled that I would be elevated from my bed and almost blinded by a bright white light. I would only see it for a second before I lost consciousness and awoke again on the cold metal bed. Once I remember the light, I was forced to remain at home when it was dark outside. Headlights, streetlights and anything bright would send a shiver down my spine and I would freeze in terror. It's hard to explain, but I was filled with a strong sense of dread that something bad was going to happen to me. It's been years since I left the house after dark." Sylvia tells us of the time she spent the night in a hotel. "My son and I were travelling to visit his sister, my daughter, and we drove for a day and then spent the night in a hotel. I went to bed early and quickly fell asleep while my son slept in the adjoining room. I woke the next morning on the floor. My nightgown had been torn down the back and put back on me inside out. At first I felt like I'd been attacked, but the door to the hallway and to my son's room was locked from the inside, and I was alone. After I composed myself, I got dressed and went downstairs for breakfast. As I passed the hotel front desk, I heard 2 guests complaining about the bright white light that flashed into their windows in the middle of the night. The desk clerk apologised but explained that there were no lights on outside of the hotel. Of this he was certain, as he worked through the night, having been there since midnight." Number 2. Implants. Usually alien abductees have little proof or evidence they've been abducted except for their hypnotherapy sessions and memories. However, alien implants are all too real in alien abductions and showcase some truly terrifying evidence of aliens. Recently deceased Dr. Roger Lear was an American pediatric surgeon and ufologist. He had removed about a dozen implants from people's bodies and claimed they were devices that emit radio signals. These bizarre metallic implants are likely tracking devices and are often inside people who have been abducted multiple times. Lear alleged that the implants had moved by themselves during surgery, as if to avoid removal. Lear said that laboratory testing of the implants implied that they were of extraterrestrial origin. Most people who have implants usually don't know they have them. Symptoms of these implants include an abnormal scar or mark on the body that can't be explained, long periods of lost time, flashbacks and/or dreams of being on a surgical table surrounded by lights and beings, hard pieces of metallic or plastic-like substances under the skin that shouldn't be there, uncontrollable actions, painful nasal cavities as if something hard is up there, headaches due to a brain implant, nosebleeds. Alien implants are slowly becoming more prevalent in the scientific community as real proof of alien encounters through abductions. There have been thousands of abduction cases that show little evidence except for the physical evidence. Number 1. Scars. Lastly, mysterious and unexplainable scars can sometimes be found on alien abductees. Body scars often range from bruises, laser cuts, scoops or burns, and can be found usually on the waist, ankles or back of the person. Some of these unusual marks don't look like your typical scars. They can appear in very intricate, geometric and detailed shapes. These strange markings can come out of the blue in a very short span of time, with the abductee not having sustained any injury to receive it. Whether you believe in aliens or not, you can't deny these unexplainable signs and evidence of extraterrestrial abduction. Thousands of alien abductions have taken place in the past and are sure to continue in the future.